Okay, now yes, you should wear gloves. Don't do what I do what I say. But I don't have any handy right now, and this stuff isn't all that harsh. So, anyways, you go in a circular motion, as you can see, it cuts through this stuff. Whatever is on here is just comes right off, and there's only seems to be one layer, so no problem. But it's not the original finish. Somebody did strip this down ages ago and thought that this like ochre color was superior to the dark walnut. I don't know, maybe it went better with the decor, but I don't care for it at all. And just like that, I'm pretty much down to the raw wood. So I'll probably go through at least a can, but I don't think more than 2 cans of it. My local supplier, it's about 16 bucks a can, so I'm looking at, yeah, with tax about 35 bucks. So like I said, a little pricey, but you can see it's pretty easy on the wood. And just like that, I've got a nice bare patch ready for the next stage. And you know, and the next stage in this case is to repair all this veneer damage. And after that, one more thing I have to show you before I move on to my last bit. Here's a look at the next section clamped up, where I put in a couple strengths of dilute. First the most dilute glue, then not so dilute, and then straight glue. A sheet of plastic, and then a piece of wood. And the plastic, if I didn't mention earlier, is so that this piece of wood doesn't get glued down to the cabinet, so this will all come apart easily. And then my 3C clamps. Something else I didn't mention is that, now this is all fine and good when you've got damage on, or separated veneer on the edge, but supposing both these edges were glued down just fine and you got a pocket in the middle, a couple things you can do. One is to slit it along the grain and then get in there with the brush and dilute glue and then clamp it down. Or you can try injecting glue with a syringe, like a large bore syringe, like maybe for working on livestock or even cake decoration or something like that. Anything so you can inject some glue and so you make a smaller hole and shoot it in there and then clamp it down. Alright, now for the last bit. Here's another project that I've been working on slowly. It's a Filco 15DX. I've got a few other videos about it if you haven't seen them already. So this had the whole front edge of veneer was gone. I put it in a new piece, and yes, I realize it's a different color. This has been stained and it's older, so it's going to look different, but with the combination of stains and toner lacquer, I should be able to blend it in so it all looks the same color. But after I got that glued down, this walnut is what they call an open grain wood, meaning that there are voids in it, like air pockets, and when you run your hand over it or a fingernail, you can actually, you know, noticeably feel that there's gaps in the wood grain. So there's a product called grain filler, which is kind of like toothpaste or cake frosting, I guess you could say. That's a consistency. Now, this is the first time I ever used it, or used this, specifically this water-based grain filler, and it does dry faster than the oil grain fillers, but it's easier to, I mean, it's easier to clean up, and I don't have too much trouble on something the size of this, about 3 feet wide and 18 inches deep. So what I did is I slopped it on with a trowel of sorts. It's actually a scraper, and spread it at an angle, like a 45-degree angle to the wood grain, to force it into all the grains. This would be like grouting tile, I guess you could say. I got it in pretty good, and then I scraped off the excess with both a trowel and then later a razor blade as it started to dry. Once it sets up, you get kind of a gray haze. You can still see a bit of it here. And this, because it was especially, you know, damaged and whatnot with the new raw veneer, I put it on a bit thick. And let it dry that way, and then it was just a matter of sanding it down, first with 220, then I used some 400 grit, and I still have a bit more to do, but the sections that are done, this is as smooth as glass. In the past I questioned whether or not it was worth it, because I would just go right to the lacquer and then just start sanding down that, but I can really see the value of doing this. Just one word of warning, get the right color. I got brown. You can also get neutral and red. Go for the darkest color you can get, and if it's not available, get brands that allow you to add your own tint to it. because this is going to fill in the grain, and if it's too light a color, you're going to put light spots in the grain, and the stain and toner lacquer may or may not cover that up. But in this case, I think it turned out pretty well. So I'll be using the same stuff on the Westinghouse, and once this is all sanded down and nice and smooth, I will then move on to for that one I'll just go straight to Mohawk Dark Walnut Toner Lacquer for the main body. In this kit, for this set, I'm going to try using a little bit of stain or different toner lacquers to blend these two woods in together so it doesn't look quite so obvious that it's a patch. Alright, that's all I've got for now. Talk to you guys later. Bye.